5pmnation.com.
Show us the Mueller report, 'cause we deserve to know what's inside. If it really meant Trump is innocent, then what are they trying to hide? The summary they let Congress see is ridiculously short. So all day long we'll be singing this song. Show us the Mueller report. Show us the Mueller report. After all this time we've waited, and though we've heard Trump misuse the word, he was not exonerated. With continuations of investigations working their way through court. We don't know what we don't know till you show us the Mueller report. Show us the friggin' report. Oh, how our curiosity burns. And incidentally, we'd still like to see what's in Trump's tax returns. William Barr thinks his job so far is finding oversight he can thwart. But our song won't cease until they release the full Mueller report. With so many indictments, what's incitement? Trump at least committed a tort. It rhymes. So Mitch McConnell, get out of your shell. Or must we yell and snort to show us the Mueller report? Oh, yeah.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let the protests begin.
Where is Matt? Where is Matt Connarton? I want Matt Connarton back.
This is me. This is who I am.
No, it's not. It's some Quaalude guy who's talking about awful music. And no, it's not working. It's not working. Just be mad.
This is how I self-identify, Dave. This is the real me. I'm showing you the real me. The real me who loves, lives, and breathes smooth jazz.
No, just Matt.
Would you like to scat with us?
No, okay, I'm done. I gotta go.
Apparently, Dave Ridley, not a big fan of the smooth jazz. Welcome back, everybody. It's Matt Connarton Unleashed in the afternoon. The smooth jazz experiment is over. We wrapped that up at the end of yesterday's show, and things are a little bit back to normal around here. It is Matt Connarton Unleashed, live on WMNH 95.3 FM, emanating from glorious, bright, sunny downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. It is April 2nd, 2019. Of course, we're also on Comcast Channel 97 if you're in Manchester. We're streaming at WMNHradio.org and on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page. Hello to Jeremy Rohn in the Facebook live chat who says, howdy, howdy. Of course, Jeremy Rohn, also known as Bumpy Knuckle Beats. Let's see, Jay Bailey Warner, rather, is in the Facebook live chat, says, hello, what is the subject today and guest? Well, I never really know the subject. It kind of goes where it goes. I usually have a whole slate of things in front of me that I might get into. And I don't really know until I get rolling what I'm going to go to first. So the show's a little unpredictable that way, but we do have a guest. We have a very important guest coming on in the second hour, my friends, making his triumphant return to the show for the first time in a long time, it's been such a long time. Yes, we will be joined in studio by the one, the only, the people's mayor, Glenn R.J. Ouellette will be here. Yes. And some other people, too. So, I'm sort of kidding. I mean, Glenn will be here, but here's what's happening. So we have, there's a production of Our Town here in, that's going to be happening locally here in Manchester. And the people's mayor, Glenn R.J. Ouellette, in addition to being he truly is, if you think about it, what you would have to consider the total package in terms of an entertainer. You know, he knows how to be the people's mayor. He can sing. You know, you might have seen the clip online of him performing a number of years ago. Not lip syncing at all. Absolutely singing. The voice of an angel. He can dance. I've seen it firsthand back when we used to hang out back in the 70s at Studio 54. Boy, those were some good times. And he is also a master thespian, and he will, in fact, be performing in the play Our Town. I keep wanting to say Our Town. It sounds funny to say Our Town for some reason. And yet, it is our. It's not R. It's not A-R-E, it's O-U-R. And I'm kind of a stickler for saying that word correctly. But for some reason, when I say Our Town, it sounds awkward to me coming out of my mouth. It sounds more natural to say Our Town. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me. Perhaps I'm overthinking it. But so Glenn, along with some of the other folks who are involved in the play, will be here. We don't usually do local Manchester stuff on this show, but it's not political. We don't do local Manchester politics. We leave that to folks who, don't mind feeling like they have to bathe immediately after the show. We do, mostly national and some state politics here. But for entertainment, I do occasionally have on musicians from the area. In fact, I might have a musician coming in this Friday or local artists like Ryan Gorman, who's a great visual artist. Ryan, of course, you're always welcome here, no matter what Easy G says. And we'll do, to have some local actors or theater people or whatever, you want to call them, coming in. And, of course, Glenn R.J. Ouellette, who did reinforce with me that he is not to be treated as a star. He's a cog in the wheel. That's the expression I'm using. He didn't say that. But he doesn't want any special treatment. So, although it is hard to keep the spotlight off of Glenn R.J. Ouellette, the people's mayor. I mean, really. So, his star shines so bright. What can you do? It's almost hard to look directly at him because he's shining so brightly, unless you're wearing sunglasses. I had to wear sunglasses during most of the show yesterday for Matt Connarton's smooth jazz experience. Turned out, believe it or not everyone was feeling it. I mean, I thought it was a great show, but Dave Ridley called yesterday and clearly was not into the smooth jazz. However, we do have we have a new addition to the cast here at Matt Connarton Unleashed. So first of all, let me introduce, and I need to get into the habit of, I'm not used to him being here every day, right? But he is here every day. He's always with me, actually. I believe he has attached himself to me. My new, and really my first, I've never had an official permanent co-host on the show, but this particular individual, or in this case, this entity, who won't leave. He continues to haunt the studio. So I agreed to let him be my co-host, and that is, of course, the ghost of John McCain.
Oh, you're exactly right.
Yes. And we have another new addition to the cast now. And now he is not my official co-host because, well, he's not a real person, either alive or in the afterlife. He is virtual in nature. We have with us now virtual Dave Ridley.
I'm here.
Yes, there you go. Virtual Dave Ridley is here with us. So very, very exciting. Our family continues to grow. Let's see. Hello to I see Jenny in the Facebook live chat. Let's see. Christian Cunard is in there as well. Fred Bonig from the Daily Ripple, also in the Facebook live chat. So exciting times here. 603-250-6007 is the number to call. 603-250-6007. We can discuss anything you like. You know, I do have some different subjects, some news items we'll get into. And of course, at 5 p.m., you'll especially want to call, because that will be your opportunity. It could, I mean, he never comes on the show anymore. He's such a big star now. It could be your only opportunity in the foreseeable future to have a discussion with the star of the hit play Our Town. He plays the constable, you know, Glenn R.J. Ouellette, the people's mayor. I still can't believe it. There were a lot of negotiations back and forth via email with his publicity team. They drove a hard bargain, but Glenn will be here, and a few other people too from the play. But I mean, really, the star. He's very modest. He'll tell you otherwise. But really, the star, and he's going to kill me if he's listening right now. Really, the star of the whole thing, I think we can all agree, is the people's mayor, Glenn R.J. Ouellette. So, let's see what to do first. You know, we didn't get into any news stories at all yesterday. You know why? Because yesterday was all about the smooth jazz.
Absolutely.
Yes, the ghost of John McCain, it turns out, really, really loves smooth jazz. But like I said, Dave Ridley from the Ridley Report, not a big fan. Although I'm curious if virtual Dave Ridley, what he thinks.
No, I don't.
No, he apparently doesn't like smooth jazz either. That's okay. That's in the past. And we shall go forth. No more smooth jazz for now. We might revisit it in the future if it's something that the people demand. If if the listeners launch a massive letter writing campaign. I don't think anyone really does letter writing campaigns anymore, but anything is possible. Let's see. So I think. You know what we need to do? Let's dive right in, and we'll tackle the big story that everyone is talking about. It is truly gripping the nation, my friends. And if you're being gripped as I feel I'm being gripped, then we need to discuss it. All this gripping. According to HuffPost.com, a man forced to shorten his fence gets revenge with naked mannequins. Yes, this is a true story. This is from HuffPost, the weird news section. Man forced to shorten fence gets revenge with naked mannequins. Santa Rosa city officials threatened a $500 a day fine until the homeowner cut the fence in half. So here's what happened. A man in Santa Rosa, California, forced to reduce the size of his fence, got some payback on City Hall with the help of some naked mannequins. Jason Windus had built a 6-foot-tall fence to keep his 2 dogs in his yard. He told San Francisco station KPIX-TV, quote, "I put this fence together for my dogs so that they had a place to run," unquote. However, Windus was ordered to cut his $9,000 fence in half after a neighbor filed a complaint with the city, claiming it obstructed the view of oncoming traffic for drivers at the intersection, according to Oakland station KTVU-TV. The city agreed and ordered Windus the alteration. Some of these websites need proofreaders. Let me edit this so that it makes sense when I read this sentence to you. The city agreed and ordered that Windus alter the fence and cut it in half, which Windus said he didn't consider fair. He told KTVU, quote, "As you drive through the neighborhood, you'll see that nobody else's fence had to be cut down but mine," unquote. Windus said city officials said he would be fined $500 for every day the fence remained in its original condition. He told San Francisco station KGO-TV, this guy talked to a lot of stations, he said, quote, "They made me freak out," unquote. Well, no one likes to be made to freak out. That's not part of the article. I'm editorializing there. Okay. It says here, so he complied, but not without making his own kind of offbeat statement. Windus put a bunch of naked mannequins he was saving for the right occasion right there in front of his yard. Windus told KGO, quote, I couldn't bring myself to throw them away. I was going to use them for target practice, unquote. Windus placed 4 of the anatomically accurate mannequins around a table while a female dummy stands with her arms over her head, according to the Santa Rosa Press-Democrat. The dummy display features a sign that reads, reserved seat for the nosy neighbor that complained about my fence to the city. I rather like this gentleman. So far, locals are enjoying the nakedly personal protest, Windus told KTVU. He said, quote, I wasn't expecting any of this. We've had like 50 people stop taking pictures telling me how great it is, unquote. And it is truly great. A work of art. You know, you can look at these statues of naked people, right? And that's art. It's like, oh, look at that statue. It's nude and stuff, but it's art, so it's fine. Why not these mannequins? By the way, hello to Chris Rose, who joins us online on Facebook. And Chris Rose might remember, oh, boy, wait till you hear how I tie all this together. So back when Glenn R.J. Ouellette, the people's mayor and star of the hit local production, slightly off Broadway, of course, Our Town, when he had his QCE News online television station right up the street here on Elm Street, I used to do a version of this program there, believe it or not, with Glenn R.J. Ouellette and Chris Rose. And we used to have a mannequin there with 100% true. We used to have a mannequin there with us in the studio, and because it's one of those things I don't look back on with great pride. I'm not going to tell you who the mannequin represented, but I will say that the mannequin was presumably, although I have no way of knowing for sure, not anatomically correct. But we did use it to lampoon a certain political figure at the time. And let's just say that certain political figure rose to prominence and was very prominent in the year 2008. And we'll leave it at that. Certainly someone that John McCain would know very well. So,
because I've always had 100% absolute truth.
That's right, ghost of John McCain. Yeah, so, boy, those were the days, I'll tell you.
It's not. It's some Quaalude guy who's talking about awful music. And no, it's not working. It's not working. Just be mad.
I don't know what virtual Dave Ridley is talking about. Perhaps Dave Ridley, the person, will call in later, and we can, although we might have scared him off, but perhaps he can clarify what virtual Dave Ridley was just babbling about there. That was, frankly, it was incomprehensible. He's probably just excited because he's going to get to meet Glenn R.J. Ouellette, the big star of stage. Let's see. Another fun story. We'll get into some more deeper things soon, I promise. But let's see if I can get this to even open. I think the deep state might be tampering with my computer again. Our friend Q, perhaps we'll hear from him at some point. Let's see. This is from lawandcrime.com. This just happened. This just happened today. Or at least this story was just published on the website today. Back with a bang. Utah singles are finally free to fornicate, according to Utah law. Yes. Yes, it used to be illegal in Utah to engage in sexual congress outside of marriage. But it says here, Utah Governor Gary Herbert, a Republican signed this. Wow, I'm amazed. I would have thought he'd veto something. I'm sort of kidding. I'm half kidding. Utah Governor Gary Herbert, Republican, has officially signed a bill into law that makes having sex outside of marriage a thing you can't be jailed for. SB 43, which specifically decriminalizes fornication, was signed quietly last Wednesday by the governor, Fox 13 reported. In case you were not aware, fornication was something that was technically a misdemeanor that could result in up to 6 months behind bars or a $1,000 fine. In other words, especially back in the day, sex outside of the confines of marriage better have been covert rather than overt. How was this law to be enforced, you ask? Your guess is as good as the lawmakers who determined that curbing, quote, offenses against the family, unquote, was a futile endeavor. According to local KU-TV, isn't that one of the stations the guy with the naked mannequins talked to? According to local KU-TV, the fornication law has not been enforced. Excuse me. As police and prosecutors do not pursue such cases. Well, yeah, I mean, that's, you do have prosecutorial discretion, right? So you don't have to pursue a case if someone, if the police department says, hey, we have evidence of somebody fornicating. Let's see. In 2003, Georgia removed a similar law with a court decision saying the government cannot, quote, reach into the bedroom of a private residence and criminalize the private, non-commercial consensual acts of two persons legally capable of consenting, unquote. Yeah, what's interesting about that, though? This will sound incredibly strange, what I'm about to say, but I actually see a flaw in that logic. Don't get me wrong. I'm not advocating for this to be recriminalized in any way, but I mean, technically, like, what if two consenting people are using some sort of illegal narcotics in a bedroom? I mean, the government certainly feels they can reach into the bedroom and punish you for that and take you away to jail. So, I mean, anyway. At Law and Crime, as lawandcrime.com noted before, SB 43 aimed to make a variety of changes to the Utah Penal Code. There's a joke in there, but I'll let that pass. Including Section 767104 of the Utah Code. The fornication statute was among laws classified under the offenses against the family, in quotes. In caps, rather. Other crimes under this chapter of the Utah Code include those related to abortion, sale of children, incest, bigamy, and adultery. The statute, in relevant part, says, any unmarried person who shall voluntarily engage in sexual intercourse with another is guilty of fornication. Utah Representative Kevin Stratton, a Republican, said, quote, what is legally is often far below what is morally right. And I recognize our laws are not strong enough to rule any moral people. Oh, see? He must be up for election soon. He's got to make sure he wins that primary. So he's going to act like he's not really into this change in law. He's going along with it, but in his heart he knows that it's evil or something. I don't know. Whatever these people think. Let's see. 603-250-6007 is the number to call. 603-250-6007. We can talk about anything that you would like, and otherwise we will just we'll keep right on going here. I think that let's do one more quick story before we get into some bigger things, because I saw this pop up on Reason.com. And for those of you who are listening locally, and maybe for some of you who are listening online from other parts of the country, this may apply to your community in some way. Let's see, but it seems especially relevant around here, as I've certainly noticed. Let's see. Oh, I was just looking at the Facebook live chat, and I'm having trouble getting back to the window I had open. Here we go. Reason.com has this story up. A 12-year-old Michigan boy fills neighborhood's potholes because the government won't. He's taken it upon himself to do what the government is apparently incapable of. And there's actually video of him here doing it. A 12-year-old Michigan boy has taken it upon himself to do what the government can't seem to manage. Monty Scott of Muskegon Heights used a garbage can full of dirt to fill at least 15 potholes near his family's home last week. He told WZZM, quote, "I don't want people messing up their cars like my mom did. If somebody were to drive down the street and hit a pothole and then would have to pay like $600 to $700 to get their car fixed, they would be mad," unquote. Scott has gone viral in recent days after a video posted to Facebook on Wednesday showed him at work. Let's see. A woman can be heard saying in the video, quote, "He really got a garbage can filling these potholes because his granny drove down this street and they down here." That doesn't quite make sense, but Jenny is here. Hello.
Yeah, hi.
His mother, Trinell Scott, expressed similar sentiments. Quote, "What are they doing with the money people are paying with taxes?" unquote. She asked the Times. Quote, "You could lose control of your car if you hit a pothole, and then you could hit a pole," unquote. According to Muskegon Heights Mayor Kimberly Sims, potholes are a major issue in this area. Sims told the Detroit Free Press she feels somewhat bad, quote, "The problem is so bad that Scott feels he has to do that," unquote. "This is not the first time private citizens have taken it upon themselves to fix the roads. In 2017, masked anarchists took to the streets of Portland to patch up potholes. Amazingly, a Transportation Bureau spokesperson suggested they might be breaking the law. And in 2018, Domino's answered the age-old question, who builds roads in a libertarian society? The pizza chain helped fix roads in numerous states across the country. It was the perfect solution, as reasons Christian Britsky noted at the time. She said, roads exist to service people's transportation needs, whether that's getting to and from work, schlepping freight between cities, or, yes, delivering freshly cooked pizza. Aligning the funding of roads and the purpose they're used for would make infrastructure more responsive to the end user, unquote. Michigan, meanwhile, has the worst roads in the U.S., according to a study released in October. Well, that's easy to fix. You just send this guy all over the state. I'm sure he has the energy. I mean, he's 12 years old. The state and local governments there have shown themselves to be utterly incapable of filling potholes on a timely basis, while Governor Gretchen Whitmer, Democrat, may have campaigned on a promise to fix the damn roads, quote unquote. It sure looks like a 12-year-old is actually getting real results. Now, I find that story inspiring.
I don't.
Why not?
Because I'm upset with you. I have a bone to pick with you, Mr. Connarton.
Oh, my goodness. Well, what could that be?
You can't guess?
No.
You can't figure out what's got me upset?
I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
Virtual Dave Ridley has no idea.
Mm-hmm.
And me neither.
Co-host, huh? New co-host, huh?
Well, he's not.
I think I should be offended. I think it should be. I should be absolutely offended.
Well, Virtual Dave Ridley is not my co-host. He's just a member of the cast.
That's not what you were saying before the show.
No. I mean, I did say I had a new co-host, but
on air you said cast, but yes.
Yeah,
you
co-host.
Said co-host.
The co-host spot is already taken by the ghost of John McCain.
Oh, you're exactly right.
No.
That's my new co-host.
No.
He won't leave.
You said it.
I can't get rid of him. I think they call it an attachment, I believe. If like a spirit attaches to you. Well, whatever he is. I mean, he's not going anywhere. So finally, I just gave in and I decided to make him my co-host. I mean,
well, that certainly is your opinion.
I mean, what else am I supposed to do?
So what's this Dave Ridley thing?
Virtual Dave Ridley. He also asked to be a part of the show.
Yeah. And you were referring to him as a co-host last night.
No. Virtual Dave Ridley. No, he's a member he's part of the team.
We were sitting, eating lasagna, having a nice meal, and what are you going to do? You got to start talking about that.
He's going to be picking up
what
some...
am I, chopped liver all these years?
He's going to be picking up some of the...
years with you.
The production duties.
You and I just have a fundamental disagreement.
No, see?
Yes, we do have a fundamental disagreement.
You have a disagreement with the ghost of John McCain?
I have
clearly.
a disagreement with Matt Connarton.
Oh, I don't think so.
Where's Hoppy when I need him?
I don't know. I don't know where he is. He said he wasn't feeling well yesterday. Aww. He missed out on all the smooth jazz.
I know, right? That would have been right up his alley, too.
Yeah, he did send me a bunch of music to play, none of which we actually got to.
And you have visitors coming today, don't you?
Yes, yes. Oh, hello to Ricky Litwinkowicz in the Facebook live chat.
Hey, Ricky.
Yes, very exciting. At 5 p.m., we'll be joined by star of stage and screen and just the brightest star in the sky, really, of course, the People's Mayor, Glenn R.J. Ouellette.
Oh my God, like really?
He'll be here.
I want a picture. I want an autograph.
I'm
I want an autograph.
I'm
You
sure
gotta
he'll
get me one.
accommodate, and
You better accommodate.
some other people coming too, I guess.
I want my autograph.
From
You better get me an autograph.
our town. It's going to be very exciting.
That is exciting.
Yes, yes.
It's exciting.
Yes.
Not a lot of people have what it takes to be able to get up on stage in front of people. So,
Boy, that's true. Let's see. Ricky says in the Facebook live chat, would you be mad if I was part of the cast, Jenny?
no, of course not. Now, there's a difference between being part of the cast and being a co-host.
Oh, Ricky could
And
be my...
last night he was talking about this virtual Dave Ridley guy as being his new co-host.
No.
He wasn't saying cast
Virtual
until he
Dave-
turned on the on-air button.
Virtual Dave Ridley is the third mic. So the hierarchy goes me, and then the ghost of John McCain, and then Virtual Dave Ridley, and then whoever else.
Really?
Kind of like...
Really? So like a dead guy and a computerized guy are before me.
Well, they've kind of taken over.
I see
Well, I can't...
where you are.
You're like in the first season of Gilligan's Island, where at the end of the theme song,
Yeah,
they would
you know
say...
you can find yourself in the first season of a Doghouse.
At the end of the theme song, they would say, "And the rest."
Do you want a pillow for the couch?
You're like "And the rest." You're like the professor
I'll
and
think
Marianne.
about a blanket, but I'm not positive.
Just maybe Ricky can maybe he can be part of the show officially. I mean, why not?
Cast, yes, but you and your co-host cojones, and what's this?
He could be
computer
the-
people and dead people are more important. They taught me.
Well, they're kind of
really?
in control.
All my hard work and efforts. That's what you are.
The ghost of John
That's
McCain.
how you are.
The ghost of John McCain refuses to
Well,
leave.
I don't love you no more.
And Virtual Dave Ridley has taken over the computer. He's like Hal from 2001 or whatever.
You're evil and you're mean and you're cruel.
I'm not in control here.
You're
of
evil and you're mean and you're cruel.
all this technology.
I'm boycotting you. That's it.
Well,
You're on the couch.
Well,
Goodbye.
I don't know why.
I can see why you feel that cynicism and mistrust.
Well, I mean, the ghost of John McCain is expressing some sympathy for you there. I mean,
Oh, you're exactly right.
Yeah, see? So, well, at least I have the ghost of John McCain and Virtual Dave Ridley. Wow. Boy, what a show so far. I just can't believe.
We should be able to deliver bottled hot water to dehydrated babies.
I agree with you, the ghost of John McCain. I absolutely agree with you on that. All right. Well, maybe Jenny will come back later, but I blame all of this on Ricky Litwinkowicz. He had to call, or not call, but he had to stir the pot in the Facebook live chat. My goodness. Let's see. I suppose we should talk about the border. Trump has been threatening to close the border. I'm not sure exactly how that works. You just, what do? You just don't let any. I mean, how does that? First of all, how does that address illegal immigration to begin with? Right? If people are crossing the border illegally, you can say, "Oh, well, the border's closed," but it doesn't, stop anyone from sneaking over the border who's already sneaking over the border. It'd be kind of like, if you had a store or a restaurant or something and you just say, okay, we're closed for the night, but you leave the doors open and you keep just letting people in. I mean, I don't know how this works practically. Anyway, Politico.com has this story. Trump bewilders GOP allies on immigration ahead of border visit, because I think Trump is going to be going to the border so he can see things firsthand. It says, as the administration weighs immigration actions, even Trump officials and Hill Republicans aren't sure what to make of his talk of closing the Mexican border. I don't think it's ever been done before, by the way, where we've just kind of closed the border. I mean, we'll go back just briefly to my idea, and I still can't believe no one's taken this up. And I really do think it would save a lot of money. We should have a border velvet rope, because people respect a velvet rope. They see a velvet rope and they go, I can't go in there. They're clearly not open, right? Or, if you have, instead of border guards, you have the velvet rope. across the border, which wouldn't cost that much, by the way. And I would make it, the stanchions. I would paint them red, white, and blue. And so you've got the velvet rope, and then you've got a series of bouncers, who would probably work for a little bit less than Border Patrol do, right? And you wouldn't have to arm them. They would just be big, beefy guys, bouncers, and you gotta approach them and ask them if you can come in. And if they say no, then you better get out of there. You don't want to get your ass kicked and get thrown on the pavement, right? So that's what I think we should do. And then, if Trump really wants to close the border, he just tells the bouncers, okay, we're closed for the night. And they just, they don't let anybody in because they have to physically, unhitch the thing, the velvet rope from the stanchion to let whoever in, right? So I think that would be a perfect solution. I think it would save a lot of money. I mean, I'm not saying a velvet rope is cheap. I mean, it is velvet after all, but I think it would be a lot cheaper than some giant freaking wall. And, you could make the stanchions of the velvet rope. You could put like fireworks in them and stuff. So, every 4th of July, you just have fireworks shooting out of the stanchions into the sky, to remind all those undocumented immigrants, hey, you got to talk to a bouncer if you want to get in here. I think that would really make a statement. But we'll see. I did start a petition on, what is it, petitions.gov or something like that. I don't know if anyone signed it. I need to pursue that, but I couldn't even, look, I tried to get that job as White House Chief of Staff, and that didn't go very well. So it really kind of left me feeling deflated and discouraged, and so now I just don't even try that hard now. But anyway, so it says here, days after Trump renewed his longstanding threat to shut down the southern border entirely, even administration officials and congressional Republicans were bewildered and guessing at his next move on a defining issue of his presidency. And some Hill Republicans warned that any dramatic disruption to regular traffic across the U.S.-Mexico border could bring Trump into a new confrontation with his own party, whose leaders warned that closing parts or all of the border would wreak economic havoc. Yeah, of course, because, not only do you have the illegal border crossings and, I hate to remind everybody, you can be mad at undocumented immigrants or illegal aliens, that's your preferred term, all you want to, but they are vital to the economy. You remove them from the mix and you're going to be paying a lot more for food. Okay, and that's a hypersimplification, but that's also real. But also, what about all the legal trade? And that's what's really got some people alarmed. Is he serious about this? All the legal crossings, people who crossing the U.S. into Mexico to work and trade, all the trade that goes on across our border. If you literally close the border, what is that going to do to the U.S. economy? And, and if you're one of these people who's in the camp of, you got to round everybody up and kick them out and build a big wall and don't let any of these damn illegals into the U.S. of A. and this is America and we don't do, even if you're in that crowd, do you really want to risk wrecking the U.S. economy just to make you feel better in your xenophobia? I mean, come on. At some point, you have to be a little bit practical and pragmatic about these things. So this is kind of nuts, this whole notion of closing the border. So it says here on Monday, the Department of Homeland Security announced plans to require that greater numbers of non-Mexican asylum seekers stay in Mexico while they wait for their cases to be resolved and to speed up the reassignment of 750 customs officers to process arriving migrants. And we have a call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hey, Matt, Mike Doyle.
Mike Doyle, how are you, sir? Did you
Good, how you been?
Did you tune in yesterday? We had a full 2 hours of smooth jazz.
I didn't, and I love jazz too. I wish I had known that in advance. I would have tuned in. You missed out. It was fantastic. Lots of Kenny G and John Tesh. A couple of things you were mentioning, and
yes,
closing the border, and I think you were being tongue in cheek of how that works.
Oh, the velvet rope? No, I'm serious.
So the theory is there's so many holes in the border because we don't have walls, we don't have barriers, call them whatever you want, that they're going to close the actual ports of entry too, so that nobody can get in, and then those officers can go to the places where people are coming over illegally and spend more attention to the illegal crossing. Now, you do know we have a crisis, or you can admit that. I know you're a lefty or a,
I don't.
or a center left, but even Obama's border chief there said it's an absolute crisis right now, the amount of people trying to come over.
Well,
and so, not so many people aren't real, I think these people all in the back of their heads know this, but for some reason, all they want to do is come up with what will be bad about closing the border and not the problem at hand, that is drug smuggling, child smuggling, trafficking.
There is a problem. No, there is a problem.
So what is the answer to the crisis?
Let's back up a little. We got
the reason why he's thinking about shutting down the border.
So we got to back up a little bit. So as I think we've established before, you and I are not as far apart on this as you think, because I'm not opposed to building wall in areas where it makes sense. And there definitely is a problem. There is a humanitarian, I don't know if crisis is the right word or not, but we won't get bogged down in semantics. But there is a problem. But the thing is, with what Trump has been saying, I don't know what he means. And I'm getting the impression the Republicans, the members of his own party, are trying to figure out what he means, because no one really knows exactly what. And does he literally mean shutting down the entire border, which is pretty drastic if that's what he means? But nobody really knows.
Let me help you. Here's what it means.
Okay.
He means that Congress should help him put people at the border, not fight him for every penny he needs to try to put up some kind of direction of bringing these hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of immigrants to this country, some legal, some illegal, who knows, some with good intentions, some with bad, but they're just so overwhelmed right now, including the director, Obama's director, is saying the same thing. So you can't just say it's the Republicans saying this. And they're just so overwhelmed at the border. They don't have room. They don't have the people. They're just coming in droves of thousands. So how do you stop it?
Well,
nobody has an answer. So he's just saying, basically, you know what? If you're going to leave me hanging here, F you. I'm just going to close the border. Simple as that.
Well,
and then I'll stop illegals coming over that way.
So is it the classic? We have to figure out. Do we take Trump seriously but not literally, or do we take him literally but not seriously, or what?
He seemed to. People have called his bluff before, and he seemed to come through. So that's let's consider it more of a bluff, but just to get everybody's attention that we have a crisis, or semantically a really bad situation at the border.
So you're
and there's more Democrats coming out now saying the same thing.
You're the
real hard Democrats that hate Trump don't want to admit it.
You're the Trump whisperer.
These people are coming over with problems, diseases. Some are illegal, some are carrying drugs, and then I'm sure there's a large percentage that are nice and are looking seriously for asylum. But the minute they get their foot in the door here, it's over. They get all our benefits, all that, illegally. Where some people have been waiting in line for years to get, from different countries.
As soon as who gets like undocumented, as soon as undocumented immigrants get into the country, they just get all these benefits? Is that what you're saying?
Sure.
No, that's a myth. Mike, that's not factually correct.
Come on.
That is not factually correct at all, Mike. That is a Republican talking point.
Undocumented
immigrants. That's not true, Mike.
You asked the question. I just thought I'd help you with this.
Yeah.
You asked the question if the border had ever been shut down before. It's actually happened 3 times.
It has?
Reagan and Nixon did it over drugs, and somebody did it over when the Kennedy assassination happened. They closed the border for a week, and I can't remember who that was. No,
that's interesting. But now, when you say they closed it, you mean like a full, like nothing, like no trade or anything?
If you read the information, they closed the border. So I don't know. I wasn't there, so I can't tell you exactly what happened. But I'm assuming closed mean closed. I mean, they just closed the gates of the ports there's 27 ports of entry.
Yeah.
If you close those, what are people going to do?
Right.
They're going to try to find the holes in the fence, and that's where they're sending more officers.
But Mike, the larger issue is if you close those, that's going to damage our economy. If you stop trade,
that's the gamble he's taking.
Oh, that's a terrible dude. That's a bad gamble. That's a bad
Yeah,
gamble.
well, he's also trying to tell Mexico, help us with this.
You're willing to
Don't let
risk?
people walk right through Mexico free, come right through and get through our gates. If they're coming through your country, then you need to do something too.
Are you willing to
It's
risk?
a little blow for Mexico too. I mean,
Are you willing to
everybody's gotta
risk?
help out. You
But
gotta
Mike,
realize there's an issue there.
Mike, are you
And a
willing
lot
to
of it has
risk?
to do with drugs, man.
Are
You
you?
heard on the morning show last
Yeah.
week, we had Nick Willard on, who's now a marshal.
Right.
He told us there were 400 major drug busts in New Hampshire last year. Major, not the little guy. Major drug busts, 400. You know how many days in a year? So it's easy math. Pretty much once a day in the state of New Hampshire, little old beautiful live free or die New Hampshire, there's a major drug bust
Right.
daily.
Yeah, I
We got a
oppose.
problem.
I oppose
I don't know
the
why
drug
the
war.
Democrats don't want to see there's not a problem.
But
There is
but
a
Mike,
problem.
if I can't ask you a question, I mean, is it worth damaging the American economy to just so Trump can just prove some sort of point, or do you think this is all
No, he's
just
not
a
trying to
bluff?
prove it. Yes, you didn't listen.
Is it
Not trying to
is
prove a point, but
or
he's
is it
gotta
a bluff?
help the Border Patrol that are overwhelmed. They're just overwhelmed with the amount of people coming in. And so what is the answer? Tell me an answer, and then I'd have more
You
faith
can-
in your show if you said, well, here's an answer.
You
Here's
can
what we
hire-
do for these.
You can
Last
hire
month,
more.
I think it was
if
90,000.
if I can,
Is that right?
if we can have a conversation, I can answer
90,000
you.
people in 1 month
Can-
coming
can
over
I-
the border.
okay.
If I'm correct. It was a huge number.
We gotta.
What do we do? How do we stop it?
So I can give you my thoughts, Mike, but you got to let me talk too. So
Go ahead.
we can hire more border patrol. I don't have any objection to that, but we're going to need a healthy economy to do that. And I don't want to risk damaging the American economy in order just so Trump can puff his chest out. And, I mean, there's smarter ways to do this.
But don't forget, you guys won't admit that the economy is doing pretty good.
Who is you guys?
Now you want it both ways.
Who is you guys, Mike? I talk about that all the
I hear
time.
it all the time from the left. That's all. They
I'm
don't
not.
want to talk
I'm
about
not
the
the left.
economy,
I'm not the left.
The lowest unemployment figures in the history of this country.
Mike.
The stock market at an all-time high. The VA totally revamped, so the VAs get help.
Yeah, Mike, hang on.
The prison.
You're
the
mentioning
low,
things I've talked
low-
about, dude.
Low sentence prison reform that he's enacted.
Yeah, Mike.
Where-
How often have I talked about, Mike, that you just said something I've given Trump tremendous credit for, among other things. Prison reform,
All of those things?
criminal justice reform. Are you kidding? Mike, that's an issue that I am deeply passionate about. And if I were to pick the one thing I've given the Trump administration and Trump and Kushner and everybody tremendous credit for, it is that issue. Are you kidding me?
I appreciate it. I don't listen to you.
Well, you
solidly every
got. Well, no,
day
you
for
don't.
2 hours, so
You
I
should
don't
listen.
Hear you mention it, but
well, you should
there's
listen a
plenty of
little
other
more,
things,
Mike.
my friend. Plenty of other things.
Mike, you should listen a little more
All-time
before you
low.
lump me in with
I
the
can't remember
left.
Last time I heard you say anything about all-time low unemployment across the board.
Mike,
Female,
I've talked
male,
about.
and every ethnic
I talk
background
about.
there is.
I talk about the
Record
economy.
Unemployment.
I talk about the economy. Just because you don't hear every issue I discuss doesn't mean I'm part of the
All
left
right,
or
all
I'm.
right.
or I'm
I
in-
believe you. I have no reason to not believe you, so I'll give
Okay.
you the benefit of the doubt.
well,
But,
thank
anyways, I think it's more of a bluff, but he's got to do something.
I hope
Nobody's
it's-
help.
I
Why
hope
isn't
it's a
Congress
bluff.
helping and saying, run by the Democrats, and why aren't they saying, all right, here's a plan. Let's give them this money. Let's do this. Let's give them more people.
Well, Congress isn't all.
Something.
Congress isn't all run by the Democrats. It's a split Congress. But I think that, but part of the problem, I think, is right now with this very specifically is I think you've got a lot of Republicans who are confused. They don't know what Trump intends to do. And I don't know. I mean, Mitch McConnell, from what I've been reading, it sounds like he's kind of shrugged and given up trying to figure Trump out. Maybe we need to put you in touch with Mitch McConnell. Because you're the Trump whisperer. You understand what he means. McConnell sure doesn't.
I can certainly help him.
All right. I will
right.
give you a reference if you want to apply for the job.
Thank you. As usual, great show.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, man.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. That was Mike Doyle on the phone. You can hear Mike Doyle, by the way, sometimes on the morning show with Peter White. So you can I don't know. I didn't get a chance to ask Mike when he's going to be on next, but I think he usually goes on there about once a week. So, look at Glenn. So if you're watching on Facebook right now, you can see Glenn R.J. Ouellette, the people's mayor, looking all dapper. He's got his hat on, and he's trying to figure out where to put everybody. Glenn, why don't you sit at the desk, and everybody else can just sit wherever they want. And Glenn's what you call a sharp-dressed man right now. Look at this guy. Well, you can't see him if you're just listening. You'll be able to watch the video later. But he's the constable. Well, it's on Facebook right now as we speak.
Oh,
so Glenn, of course,
it's also on 97.
Yes. How are you? You haven't been on my show in a long time.
Long time.
We've had to negotiate through your publicist.
That's right. I'm no longer available for nothing.
Right, that's right. Well, I know, yes. Well, why don't you, actually, yeah, let's do this. Why don't you introduce, because I don't know any of these folks
I thought we were going to wait till 5.
So why don't you, no, we're not going to wait till 5. We're going to go now because it's really awkward to just, with a room full of people. So why don't we start now? So go ahead and just introduce everybody.
Actually, I'll let them introduce themselves. Why don't we start off with...
That's fine, too.
My name is David Bilodeau. I am going to be performing with the Manchester Community Theatre Players in a performance of Our Town, and I'll be playing the role of Mr. Webb.
Mr. Webb, all right.
I'm Steve Short.
Pull the mic up, Steve. You're like way. That's okay. Yeah, you're like way far away.
All right in front of my face.
There you go.
Which is great for radio and even better for TV. My name is Steve Short. I am the company manager of Manchester Community Theatre Players, who is performing Our Town, and we open on Friday.
Oh, very nice.
I'm Nancy Rosen, and I play Mrs. Webb, and I also manage Steve. Just kidding.
Oh, okay.
I like that.
The way he was talking, I got the impression he was in charge, but it sounds like you're in charge of him. So,
no, just for this second part.
All right. And you, sir?
I'm Mark Schwartzberg. I'm in the production. I play Dr. Gibbs.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. All
and
right.
I'm Glenn Ouellette, and I play Mr. Webb. Mr. Webb. I play
the
constable, Mr. Ward.
We all know who you are, Glenn R.J. Ouellette.
Well, not in the act.
You're a big deal. Oh, we have a call. Let's see. Who this is. We have a call. Hi. Welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hey, Matty C. How are you? What's up, pal?
Hey, do you have a question for? We've got the cast of Our Town here. Do you have a question for them?
Never heard of them.
Oh, okay. Well, do you want to call back later?
Well, I just wanted to tell you, I am actually in a great mood. I'm feeling really good, and the people at Our Town might be interested to hear this. I'm feeling good. I just was at the beach. The weather's fantastic.
Oh, wow.
It's wonderful weather, so sunny. Out on the beach, obviously, I was there with my friend Jonathan. We were out at the beach, and, obviously a lot of branches, big trees,
sure,
sort of driftwood comes up on the beach.
Wow.
And I had one of the best days ever because my friend Jonathan was jumping over some of this stuff, and I got an opportunity to spend all day watching John hop wood.
Well played. Hang on.
Is he hopping at the wood?
You deserve an air horn.
Thank you, Matt. I love you, Matt. I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye.
Well played, sir. Bye-bye. John Hopwood, he has some experience as a thespian. Has he ever acted with you all?
Actually, this is the Manchester Community Theatre, and it's been going on for how long?
Manchester Community Theatre Players has been performing for the last 17 years here.
Oh, very nice. So that's a no on John Hopwood, then.
I'm going to say no.
No, I know who John Hopwood is, but I've never seen him there.
No, I was only half kidding. He really does act, apparently, and he's written screenplays or something.
Is he a natural at it?
I don't know. I can definitely imagine him, though, as an actor.
There'll be another play coming in the fall, The Music Man, so they'll be looking for all kinds of people from, I was told this morning, from 6 years old to 86 years old.
Oh, wow.
Or older if somebody is amenable to being on stage.
Oh. Yeah, it was 76, Steve.
No, that's the number of trombones.
Oh, that's it.
That's right.
Because Glenn is, what are you? You're well, you don't need to talk about your age. You're the people's mayor, after all. And you're the constable in the play?
Yes, I am.
Tell me about your acting experience, because I didn't know until all... I mean, you're a man of many talents. I didn't know that...
I wouldn't say that.
You were,
I'm a jack of all trades and a master of none. I'll be the guy upstairs to be the master.
Oh, right.
I used to do this when I was 22 years old, and I haven't done it since 85. I'm getting a retirement age now, so I want to go back to things that I used to enjoy doing, and I used to enjoy doing that.
Oh.
I will say, though, that because I am so busy that I have not been able to put as much time in it as I want to, and I'm sure it shows. And so this week, I have taken time off from work to do my due diligence that when we open on Friday, we will give you a good show.
Oh, very good. Jenny in the Facebook live chat says, wow, looking sharp, Mr. Mayor.
Be careful. I do not look anything like Joyce Craig.
I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Okay.
You don't get it?
No.
She's a female and I'm a male.
Like some sort of gender joke. That still doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, so now our town is I've always kind of been aware of it. I've heard of it, but I've never seen it, and I don't know a lot about it. I did do a little bit of reading about it today, and I'll whoever wants to take this but what is our town or our town? However you...
It's a play by Thornton Wilder.
Okay,
takes place in a fictional town in southwestern New Hampshire.
Oh,
and it was written by Wilder when he was at the McDowell colony near Peterborough.
Okay.
So there's a sort of a sense that it's a little bit about Peterborough, or at least Peterborough inspired him. And it focuses on the life in this town, the lives of a couple of families in the town over the course of 12 to 14 years in the early 1900s.
Okay.
And it's really simply about their lives.
Is that when it was written?
It was written in the 30s.
It was written in the 30s. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And I mean, what is dealt with over the course of the, like, what are these families dealing with as they're going through this?
There's two different situations here. We have the Gibbs household. Their two children are, both families have two children, both high school age children, 2 years apart. So the older children in both of the households are the ones that they kind of find each other through the course of the performance. So it's kind of overall the entire performance is just about, I don't know, to me it's like a celebration of ordinary life.
Okay.
And just just all the mundane things that we take for granted.
Sure.
In our day-to-day lives, but presented in more extraordinary ways.
Okay. All right.
I agree.
Okay.
It's really about the beauty and significance of what we
take for granted, right?
Take for granted,
today.
Right? The mundane, the stuff that we simply let flow by us.
Life was so simple in those days compared to what it is today. It was difficult, but simple.
But the taking things for granted thing is timeless, right? Because that's just a part of human nature. No matter what time you actually today, it's probably even more relevant in some ways because we have more to take for granted. We have all this technology and we have our smartphones and all this stuff that we take for granted, and so we have even more. So it's is it? How long is the play? Is it a couple hours or
3-act play?
It's about an hour. It's about an hour and a half.
It's relatively short.
Minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You won't get bored, I guarantee you. Very interesting.
And tell me about your role, Glenn R.J. Ouellette, as the constable. Is it similar to that of a mayor?
No. A constable is like a cop. It's a police officer.
Oh.
They used to call them constables in those days.
Oh.
And they keep the peace and they check out the doors and make sure everything's safe. And
yeah. Now, are you fully prepared for this? Because I listened to the interview on the morning show, and I kind of got the impression you don't know all your lines yet. Because I think you said exactly that.
I was very honest. I said it when I first came in here tonight. I said I have not given as much time as I wanted to, and this week I'm doubling down so that I will know all my lines.
I should point out that this is Tech Week, or some companies call it Hell Week.
Okay.
But Tech Week is the last couple of intensive rehearsals before we start to perform the show.
Okay.
That's where all the kinks get ironed out. We've got a fairly large cast, and the cast hasn't been a complete body yet. So,
okay.
individual segments of the show have been put together, but this week is when we put the whole show together as an entity.
Oh, okay.
And that's when I come in. I had my first rehearsal yesterday. I run the soundboard.
Yeah.
So where the actors have been rehearsing for weeks, that was my first rehearsal. So
okay.
It takes some time to put the mechanics of the show together, the blocking where the actors are positioned on the stage, the lines themselves that are being acted out, and the technical elements of lights and sound also add to the production, but they're all rehearsed individually, and we'll put them together this week.
Okay. How large is the cast?
We have a cast of 24.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not a huge cast. We've had casts of over 50 in the past, but and we've had a cast as small as one in our 17-year history. But this is a moderate-sized cast, and we have a number of returning performers, and we have a couple of new performers. David and Glenn are new to the company. Mark and Nancy have been with us before, and I've been around for the duration.
Okay.
And the cast is very helpful. We help each other.
Right.
So it's I find it's a very good group, very good team. Whatever you want to call it, we work in teams, and I'm really enjoying it.
Now, what happens? David, I have confidence in. I just get that vibe. But what happens if Glenn really blows it? Is he not invited back?
I won't. Oh well, me and Glenn, we
do take great pains to make sure that the actors know the lines before theirs and after theirs. So if somebody does falter on stage, and it happens with every theater company, it happens on TV. I noticed a couple of lines missing in Jesus Christ Superstar when NBC did it.
Oh, no, for real? Yeah.
And they get paid.
Oh, wow.
Wait, we don't get paid?
No, we don't get paid. So, flubs happen.
Sure.
But the quality of the actors that we have allow for what we call pickups, where an actor will know that somebody has messed up, and one of them will bring it back by bringing in a line, and then the other
kind of covering,
actors will be able to cover. I noticed that Mark did that last night. He brought a scene back.
Okay.
I will be fine.
I thought for a second from the look on his face you were about to throw him under the bus because he blew something. And,
yeah, I'm sure I did as well.
And then Glenn had to save him. And can you imagine how humiliating would that be?
Right, life is about balance. Sometimes you're the one, sometimes you're helping out.
That's right.
Sometimes you're the windshield, and sometimes you're the bug.
That's
right. Yes. And by the way, I'm not really any picking on of Glenn that I do is done with affection. I hope everyone knows that. I love Glenn. He's a great friend, and he knew I was going to do that. Or maybe he didn't, but
I think Mark has something to say about the character.
I'm sorry?
You were going to say something about us.
Oh, well,
Mark,
I was just...
Mark, I called you David earlier.
No,
I'm sorry.
It is David.
He is
Mark
David.
here,
I'm
David.
sorry, David. My mistake.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
Glenn's mistake, yeah.
The good constable and I, we have a few different exchanges in the performance. So
okay.
We'll be helping each other from time to time if one of us does falter.
Oh, very nice and very diplomatic.
Of course. Got to keep the peace.
Yes. Isn't there a ghost in the... Was I reading there's a ghost that shows up in the play?
You may have read that.
Or is that in the movie? Because there's a movie adaptation, right?
Yeah,
there are
several.
Yeah,
several
there are
movies.
a couple.
There are, okay.
Yeah, black and white original.
There's no ghost, but the real main character, who's referred to as the stage manager, that's his title, is a character who lives outside of time.
Okay.
You can think of him as a spirit, or as he doesn't ever come across as God.
Okay.
Sometimes you could think of him as maybe the spirit of death, sometimes, but also the spirit of life, that he exists outside of time, and he narrates the story from the point of view of someone far in the future from it, but also interacts directly with the members of the cast.
Okay.
And it's presented in some ways as a traditional play that you sit and you watch and actors are acting out their roles, but it's also presented as a play, and the stage manager opens it by saying, this play we will be presenting to you is our town. So it is self-aware as a play.
Okay.
And it's one of those rare plays where what we call the fourth wall is broken.
Okay.
In other words, in a play, there will be interaction between the actors. In this particular show, the stage manager actually addresses the audience. And it's called breaking the fourth wall.
Okay.
It's rarely done.
Yeah.
But in this play, because it is set, the way it's set in a theater.
Yeah.
And we are performing in a theater. So the stage manager interacts with the crowd. There are, however, actors in the audience that address the action that's taking place.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So the stage manager almost sounds like acts as a narrator.
Exactly.
He does.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And then so there's people in the audience who are actors who are interacting.
Yes, they're placed into the audience.
Okay.
We can't tell you who, though.
Right.
That's the surprise.
You have to come see the show.
That's right.
Okay.
Here comes the plug. This coming Friday night, April 5th, and April 6th at 7:30, and Sunday, April 7th at 2 o'clock, and then the following Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the 12th, 13th, and 14th at 698 Beach Street, the home of the North End Montessori School. We reside in their 1950s era gymatorium.
Oh.
You missed one. This Saturday we're also playing.
Yes.
Yeah, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Sunday for 2 weeks.
Yep.
And now, what's good about the Sunday is that like a matinee, it's Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
So if you think it's too late for some of your small kids to come in, you can bring them on Tuesday.
And this is a very young adult-friendly show.
It's a family entertainment.
Oh,
No
absolutely,
bad
yeah.
words will be spoken.
No.
Okay.
At all.
Okay.
I think Mrs. Webb says, gosh.
Okay.
I do, yes.
Well, little gosh, little gosh.
And
darn
everyone
it.
blushes on stage.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Actually, this is probably a good idea. We alluded to it earlier about days gone by. Can you talk about how the women were treated or treated their menfolk?
A lot of the current sisters would have probably a lot of objections, but we were in the kitchen, fixing the 3 meals day in, day out, year after year. There's a statistic that the narrator or the...
What was that, Mark? 52,000 meals?
Yeah, 3,000. Thousands and thousands.
Over the course
3,000
of...
meals a year, I think.
Yeah, 3,000 meals a year. And that's
Okay.
basically, we're in the kitchen, and we're either barefoot or not or whatever, prepping, cleaning, and
Yeah.
doing.
And gently trying to figure out a way to bring up the sale of a high boy.
That's right.
The sale of a what?
A high boy?
Yeah, piece of furniture. High boy, one of those.
Oh.
Anyway, that's
Okay.
his wife, Mrs. Gibbs, has an issue there, which if you come to see the play, you'll see what it's all about. But
Yeah.
But don't give it away.
Right, no. But, yeah, there's just a lot of preparation, just very domestic, We grew what we ate.
Yeah.
The milk got delivered, and the kids have got to be spanking clean. And, we're God-fearing, and we're in the church choir. And I saw the Atlantic Ocean once.
Yeah.
No need to go too much further than that.
Right, right.
So we got it all right here in Grover's Corners.
Yeah.
That brings up an interesting question, though, in terms of how women are treated in the play. Like, is there any pressure, or has anyone done a version of like, I don't know how much creative license because I know so little about theater. I don't know how much creative license you can take when putting on a play. But like, has there ever been? I mean, it's obviously it was written for its time, and that's the reality of the time, right? But in this world that we live in now, I mean, so many things have been kind of re-envisioned along the way. I mean, is there any pressure to kind of do that with a play like Our Town?
No, and so this is where the technical part comes in.
Yeah.
When you buy the rights or rent the rights to a theater, a play, you cannot, by contract, change the play.
Oh, okay.
If one were to want to rewrite the show, one could do that. For example, there is a show out there called The Female Odd Couple. And it's The Odd Couple, as we know and love it.
Yeah.
But the characters are female.
Okay.
And the lines are rewritten accordingly and so on and so on.
Yeah. Did Simon rewrite it?
I believe that Neil Simon had a role in rewriting it for a female perspective.
Oh, wow.
That having been said, there are allowances in the show Our Town to give it a geographical presence. For example, the stage manager announces that we're putting the show on at the Manchester Community Theatre Players Theatre, and there are ellipses to indicate that you can fill that in. But that's it. So we can't have Mrs. Gibbs going to work in an office. We can't have Mrs. Webb petitioning for women's suffrage that might be coming up in another 10 years.
Okay. Yeah.
So there are very strict contractual conditions for putting on a show.
And it sounds like from what you're saying, it depends on the play and who owns the play, right? So there's some plays where maybe there's a lot of leeway given, and
no. To the best of my experience in the last 17 years or so, you can't change a show.
That's pretty standard.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to change a show, you have to ask explicit permission from the holder of the rights to the show. Right.
Okay.
And that's why I won't have a stun gun, because in those days they didn't have any.
Right. Even though we all know you normally carry one in case anything gets out of hand, which I applaud you for, actually. I think it's a great idea.
This is such an old classic, and to the point that I found online that it gets played in France, in London. It's a global phenomenon. People act it as a play all over the place. So it's very well known, isn't it, Steve?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that actually, I read that too, and like I said, I read up on it a little bit today, and that surprised me, because when you describe it, it sounds like a very, I don't know how else to say it, it just sounds like a very American-sounding play, but they must have to, I would think in other countries where they're putting this on, I mean, just practically speaking, there are some details about it that would have to change, aren't there?
I don't
just
know.
culturally?
Not.
I would
think
not.
Other than language. I don't think so. I think it really deals with some pretty timeless themes. As I said, of paying attention to what's happening in life, about growing up. The two families have teenagers who fall in love and get married.
Yeah.
About what that is, about teenagers separating from their families, and how they do that, and sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's hard.
Like the Greek tragedies have played so well over
Sure.
here, as Shakespeare, etc.
Right, just like Romeo and Juliet.
It makes sense.
It's about two kids in Verona, Italy, but still, you know, it plays well here.
It translates. And I think the best example of something like that I think everybody can picture is if you go on to YouTube, I guess that's on the interwebs. Something
I've
like
heard
that.
of that.
It's on the
if you go on
YouTube,
YouTube and look up the Japanese version of Fiddler on the Roof,
Oh, wow. No
you
kidding.
will laugh and laugh and laugh.
Yeah.
But they're all about tradition.
Okay.
So the songs are the same, the words are the same, obviously translated.
Yeah.
But the cultural norms, the life and death and parental and child relationships, they're the same universally.
Okay.
So a show like Our Town, where it is quintessential New Hampshire, it will translate everywhere.
Okay. All right.
I saw the one on YouTube that was acted in a London high school.
Yeah.
And there really is no difference.
No kidding. Interesting. Yeah.
And they made, and at the end they made it very clear that was a very important classic play that they did, and they enjoyed it. So I don't think times were simpler in those days, and pretty much everybody raised their kids the same way, and not like it is today.
But when you were watching that version of it, did you see the constable and think,
no,
I'm a better?
The accent was different because they have a British accent, but like you said, other than that,
right. Oh, very
basically
good.
the same words. Yes.
Yeah. Very good. So then the next, what I think you had said earlier, but what's the next one after you're done with this production? What's the next play
The Music
you're
Man?
putting on? The Music Man?
Well, actually, we're taking a bit of a breather. Manchester Community Theater Players helps the North End Montessori School with their summer theater camp, which is the 2nd and 3rd weeks of July.
Okay.
And we help them put on a show that has kids from the ages of 6 to 13. So we'll be busy as a theater company doing that. But the next open auditions are for The Music Man. We're going to be auditioning in August for a performance in October.
Okay.
And people can find information at www.mctp, that stands for Manchester Community Theater Players, mctp.info.
Okay.
Not .com, mctp.info.
Okay.
And you'll see information about our town and the upcoming show, The Music Man, which I hope the 4 actors that are here with me will audition for and come in and perform again with us.
Well, be careful. You want to wait and see how this guy over
We've
here-
learned how to handle Glenn already.
Oh, you have?
Yes.
Is he difficult to work? Because he's a big star.
I just throw him a piece of raw meat and he's good.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Throw it
okay.
into the lion's den.
No. I mean, contractually, though, does he have his own trailer?
No, I would hope not.
I
keep telling you, Matt, that I am no better than a simple citizen. Stop putting people on the pedestal where they don't belong.
And they don't get more simple than Glenn.
What, dude, you get for that? You get an air horn. Oh, you don't have headphones on. I gave you an air horn.
I heard it.
Okay, excellent. And by the way, I know I recycled the trailer joke from the morning show, but I thought
I could totally see Glenn in like a 2-3 minute action-packed trailer for Our Town. That's definitely registering in my mind here.
Yes, or how about
The Constable?
Actually, I put together a 1.5-minute trailer that will work out very well.
Of course you did.
Air on some of the TV channels. Well, I mean, of course I do. That's what I do. I love editing.
I know.
You should know that. I've been doing that since I was 16 years old.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Back at
I was in high school.
16, back in Van Buren, Canada.
They had a public access there. And
wow.
As a junior, I became the assistant director. That's how good I was with the equipment. And the equipment in those days was not like it is today. It wasn't high tech like it is today.
No, I mean, back then, did you even have color television?
Yes, we did.
Oh, okay.
That was back in the early 70s.
That wasn't, for the record, that wasn't an age joke. That was because he's from Canada.
What? Do they have color in Canada or anywhere around the globe?
Oh, I thought back then Canada was black and white.
Oh my God!
Is he even legally eligible to act in the United States?
We check everybody's passports.
Good.
And my passport is 100% A-OK.
Why do you have a passport? Where are you going? Are you looking to escape if you don't do well in the play and people are mad at you?
All I could do is jump the border, jump the river, which is my border here.
Wait,
and
Steve, did you
I
check
know where
with
you live.
Interpol? Is that?
I thought we were here to plug a show.
Yeah, really. Let's plug the show.
Well, the thing is, we got to keep him honest because he's, he might. He
I'm
says
honest.
he says he's not going to, but I think he's going to run for mayor again.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
And we're not discussing that. We're discussing the play only. Please.
Oh my goodness. Well, so that is Music Man must be like, how many people are in that? Because I've
Man
seen the
will
movie.
be a large
and
cast.
That's a lot of. That looks like a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like how large? Like more than?
I'm gonna guess 50 at this point.
Okay.
The Music Man is a show where you can probably have as few as 30, but as many as you can put on stage.
Yeah.
We like to not crowd our stage, but it is a show that allows itself to include family groupings.
Oh.
One of the things that Manchester Community Theater Players prides itself on is being one of the only companies in New Hampshire that does not have a production fee. In other words, many companies charge their actors to be part of their productions. That's how they raise funds.
Oh.
We have
I didn't
other
know that.
ways of raising funds. So we have no production fees,
Yeah.
which allows for actors of all different socioeconomic categories to perform on our stage and not be kept away because they can't afford to be on stage.
Oh, that's cool.
So in that case, whereas a family of 4 might have to pay a large sum of money with one company, they don't have to pay anything with our company.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah.
So,
wow.
Yeah, again, that all that information is on www.mctp.info.
Very nice. I can imagine Glenn as the music man.
No.
Okay. All right. How many plays do you do in a year?
We have done as few as 3 and as many. Last year we did 8.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Jeez,
yeah.
that sounds like a lot. Yeah, it sounds
a lot of
like
work for a volunteer organization.
Yeah. Wow. Jeez. And have you been there? You said it's been 17 years.
Yes.
And have you been there the whole time?
I've been there for 15 years.
Wow. Damn near close. Yeah.
I started with a minor role in a show, and I did so well that I was made the company stage manager.
Okay.
And then my role has transmogrified into company manager with sporadic cameos.
Yeah. Wow.
But I was really fortunate to be one of the principals in Jesus Christ Superstar last
no kidding.
year. It was a great show and a great opportunity.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
But these are the actors, not me.
Yeah, yeah. And this is your first one with in Manchester?
Yes.
Yeah.
My first performance with the Manchester Community Theatre Players.
Okay.
Yep.
And you've been managing your husband but you're also in the play, right?
Right.
Well, we're not married.
No.
Oh,
I was just
no.
a joke.
No.
See, when she said she was in charge of you, or however she put it, I took that to mean
No. I manage another guy.
Oh,
well, it just so happens that.
So who is in charge of him? So he's a guy. Somebody's got to be in charge of him.
My wife is at home, hopefully listening, and hopefully hi, honey.
Hopefully not.
Just kidding.
I may have started some. I may have started a problem. Yikes! And Mark, you have you been at this? I feel like I've seen you around town, so I assume you've been acting for a while. Yeah,
yeah. I've been doing theater in the southern New Hampshire since the early 2000s.
Okay, yeah. So I've definitely seen. Have you? Did you ever do anything in Concord?
I've never done anything in Concord.
Okay.
I've never gone up that far.
I thought I might know you from there, but
in Manchester and Nashua.
Oh, okay. All right.
But Mark won't say this, but I will. Mark's entire family is involved in New Hampshire theater. He has 3 sons that have tremendous theatrical and musical chops.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, cool.
And we've been fortunate to have 2 of his kids involved with a couple of our shows. And your middle son was 13, I think, when he graced our stage in falsettos.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
13. Yeah.
Very cool. Very nice.
Yeah, Mark's whole family is involved.
No, that's awesome. Well, listen, it's we're coming up on 5:30, so you've all been very generous with your time. But please, somebody, just to remind everybody, or for anyone who's joining us late, give it a plug one more time so people know where to get tickets, where to go, when it's happening, and because it's coming right up, right?
Yeah, Our Town opens this coming Friday, April 5th at 7:30, and continues on Saturday, April 6th at 7:30, Sunday, April 7th at 2 o'clock, Friday, April 12th at 7:30, April 13th at 7:30, and Sunday, April 14th at 2 o'clock, all at the MCTP Theater at the North End Montessori School, 698 Beach Street, corner of Beach and Prospect. Ticket information can be found at www.mctp, that's Manchester Community Theatre Players, mctp.info.
And they can buy tickets at the door, right?
Tickets are available at the door. Adults are $20, seniors are $18, and students under the age of 18 are $10.
Oh, okay. Very, very good. And just so we're clear, so for the Music Man, you're going to be like, when do you start? Because there might be people listening who want to know, when they can, if they're interested in auditioning.
Yep, auditions will be posted on our webpage. They will be held. We haven't set the date yet, but they will be mid to late August.
Okay. All right. Very good. Well, thank you all so much. And this has been fun. Thanks for coming in. I know I'm a little bit of a smart ass, but Glenn probably warned you about that. But no, we like to have fun, keep it light, keep it irreverent, and thank you for keeping him busy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Take care.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, thanks. And you're listening to Matt Connarton Unleashed in the afternoon. Going to take a little break here, play something for you, and then we'll be right back with more of the show. Don't go anywhere. This is Don Karen.
Years ago, the probe began, and many thought that someday it would make them smile. And those who said it had no chance were scowled upon and seen askance. So desperate was the hope to see a trial. February made them shiver as it came clear he'd not deliver the news that they desired was not to be acquired. I know that many people cried when they read the news, it hurt their pride. So deep in the pipe dream mired they collusion died. So bye-bye to the collusion lie. Russian agents, spooky puppet, and a plot to deny. From each new event, how the conjecture would fly. Can they let it go and just let it die? Let it go and just let it die. We all know that he's corrupt and his list of crimes is building up. So I'll just list them down below. What emoluments could have kicked a goal? Collusion was their chosen role. Investigating all of it real slow. Well, the media then lost their mind as they blundered backward, fully blind. Collusion became news. Evidence not by the clues. The other news stories all then were shut, while collusion filled every news truck. But I knew they ran out of love the day collusion died. But they kept singing bye-bye, he's a Russian ally. But the Russian agent and a treason spy. And every day more wacky theories reply. Time to let it go and just let it die. Let it go and just let it die. Now when Mueller issued his report, the media could not contort it to save face, though they did try. They lost all credibility. Embarrassed is what they should be, and the damage done they cannot deny. They gave victory to the president, validation as if heaven sent. The courtroom was adjourned. No verdict was returned. And now when he screams about fake news, he'll be correct thanks to their ruse. The witch hunt he'll rightfully accuse the day collusion died. 'Cause they were singing bye-bye, he's a Russian ally. All the Russian agent and a treason spy. And every day more wacky theories reply. Time to let it go and just let it die. Let it go and just let it die. I met a girl who sang the blues. She asked me for some happy news. I offered, but she just turned away. Those who followed actual facts instead of corporate media hacks would know that Mueller knew the only way. He farmed out criminal indictments to 7 districts. There's excitement, all of them pardon proof, not like the collusion spoof. So carefully he did anoint a prosecution's starting point. The outcome couldn't disappoint. A day collusion died. Yet they're still saying bye bye. He's a Russian ally, Putin puppet, Russian agent, and a treasonous spy. The Russian hysteria was misplaced outcry. Time to let it go and just let it die. Let it go and just let it die. So bye-bye to the collusion lie. Collusion obsession gave the press a black eye. And if they persist, the damage will amplify. Time to let it go and just let it die.
You. Thanks so much for joining us. And I want to start by playing a little of what you've told me on the question of President Trump and collusion. Listen to this.
Is there any doubt in my mind that he colluded with Russia? I don't know. Do George and Kellyanne sleep in the same bed? No. Wolf, the answer is no. There's no doubt. It's Mueller time, Lock him up. Lock him up. Impeach!
So as you know, according to the special counsel, Robert Mueller, the investigation did not establish that members of the Trump campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government. Are you ready to accept that conclusion from Robert Mueller?
100%, Wolf. This is only good news for the country, and I am here today to say that I am ready to leave this behind us and move on without some big song and dance. Excuse me. OMG, he's reached a conclusion. Holy sh**. I'm sorry to curse, bitch. Thankfully, there's been no collusion. So why don't I feel better yet? In fact, I feel worse.
The Mueller report now turned in. Robert Mueller's work is over.
It's lasted 22 months. It's no wonder we're stressed. Wish we could just let it go. The things that we learned are not what we guessed. And as for the rest, we may never know.
How much, if anything, will America get to see?
I've got those. Yay, it's finally over. Wait, it's only just beginning. Blues. Those damn you, Robert Mueller. I mean, thank you for your service. Feelings. Those give me that report. Now throw this trash in the bin. Congratulations, Hannity. But wait, what'd you win? Those what about obstruction? Here comes Rudy Giuliani. Feelings. Those isn't really over. Can we still indict Ivanka Blues?
Robert Mueller has delivered his report, but the political fight over it is just beginning.
Repeatedly, he stated,
no collusion.
He said, I guess that he was right.
Are there any Russians here tonight?
Is he exonerated?
Total exoneration.
Technically, not quite.
Mueller stopping short of exonerating the president.
His comments were off color.
And we kicked their ass.
He'd constantly deny.
No collusion. No collusion. No collusion. No collusion.
And slander Mr. Mueller.
But the entire thing has been a witch hunt.
Now look who's his favorite guy. He's got those maybe if I hadn't been so shady in the first place blues.
Russia, if you're listening.
Those LOL I told you so. Oh God, that was a close one. Feelings. Those I'm so smart I knew it was a hoax and a hunt. Now I'll play the victim till I get what I want. That I should be more honest, but it's not what Daddy taught me. Feelings. Those no, I haven't read it. Time for celebrations. How is it your business what I do with foreign nations? Hope they just forget those other 12 investigations. Blues. Well, look at you with no convictions. I tell you, it's a great day to be an American. I mean, Donald Trump, Jussie Smollett, you in that pink blouse, people are getting away with murder around here. Sarah,
will we ever see the full report?
I think that the president is doing exactly what he should, and that's leaving that decision into the hands of the attorney general.
Well, is it wrong for the president to claim this is a total exoneration when the attorney general's letter clearly says it's not?
It is. It is a complete and total exoneration, and here's why.
You are really feeling yourself today.
Because the special counsel, they said they
couldn't make a decision one way or the other. The way the process works is then they leave that up to the attorney.
I've got those Nancy, go and get 'em. Never mind, girl, I'm exhausted. Blues. Mueller blues. Those are what the hell is Comey doing standing in a forest? Feelings. Those bartender, we're gonna need to refill my cup. And since there's no collusion, could you make something up? And why does Devin's cow have way more followers than I do? Feelings. Those, is it over? What just happened? Can't we just arrest Ivanka? Where's the rest? I gotta see it. Give it to me. I don't want it. Yes, no, black, white, red, blue, left, right. Thank you. Go away now. Please don't leave me, Robert Mueller.
Major victory for presidential investigation.
No collusion.
Impeach!
Welcome back, everybody. It's Matt Connarton, Unleashed in the Afternoon. We are live on WMNH 95.3 FM at WMNHradio.org, on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester, and, of course, on Facebook via Facebook Live on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page. But had to restart that because something happened here. Something wonky happened. We didn't get fully disconnected from the internet because the live stream, audio-wise, went uninterrupted, but we're on a new Facebook feed, and it doesn't look like everyone's migrated over to the new one. It's kind of an empty room at the moment as far as that goes, but that's okay. But anyway, glad to have you with me. We do have about 20 minutes left in today's show, so give me a call if you'd like, 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. Of course, thank you again to our guests, the great Glenn R.J. Ouellette, star of our town. No, I'm kidding. No, he's part of the cast, but he's not the star. No, thank you to everybody, the whole crew who came in from our town and for putting up with me. And that was fun. I enjoyed talking with them. I hope that they enjoyed themselves. It's one of those things where it's hard to gauge. It's like, hopefully they had a good time. Then again, they might have been completely annoyed with me and they were smiling through the pain, as they say. I just don't know. I did notice that my new official permanent co-host, the ghost of John McCain, was very quiet.
Absolutely.
During that discussion, but he's probably got all kinds of pent up things to say now.
And I have never been an astronaut, but I think I know the challenges of space.
All right, we don't have to get into all that right now, ghost of John McCain. Geez, just because our guests are gone doesn't mean you can just start rambling. And,
hey, I have something for you if you want it. Can you hang on for a second?
Oh, and now there goes virtual Dave Ridley rambling too. Jeez, I don't know. These, I'll tell you what. Between this ghost that insists on haunting the show and this virtual being who's taken over this computer, it's not as easy as it used to be here on Matt Connarton Unleashed. But we soldier on, we sally forth, we do any of those other things when you talk about continuing on. I can't think of any other things. But give us a call, 603-250-6007. Reuters is reporting, and this is a story that is starting to gain a little bit of momentum. And by the way, as I open this story, there is a picture of a man in the story who is part of the Trump administration, but who has largely managed to not have any scrutiny. It was actually kept a very low profile. You have some members of the Trump administration who have a very high profile, who get a lot of media attention. But Energy Secretary Rick Perry, former governor of Texas, he's kept a very low profile in the Trump administration, has really kind of remained above the fray or under the radar. But he's popping up in this story. But what's really interesting about this is, and again, this is a story that's been gaining some momentum. I think it was a couple of weeks ago, we first started to hear about some sort of deal to provide nuclear technology to Saudi Arabia. And it's just interesting in the context of, a few things of, the president's unwillingness to really enforce accountability on Saudi Arabia for the murdering of a journalist. So you have that, which is awkward. And you also have, if you think back to 9/11, which was almost 2 decades ago now, who were we actually attacked by on 9/11? The Saudis are state sponsors of terror. I mean, those were, we can pretend all we want to. It was, Afghanistan had something to do with it, and we had to invade Afghanistan. And then Iraq, well, they didn't really have anything to do with it directly, but they were thinking about doing something. That's why Saddam Hussein had all these weapons of mass destruction. There's all these different ways to justify our interventionist, adventurous foreign policy since 9/11, but the truth is we were attacked by Saudis. Most of those hijackers were Saudi Arabians recruited from the Wahhabi tribe. That's who really attacked us, but we pretend, there are buddies and this and that, and it's because of oil and so forth. But then this story started to pop up about selling nuclear technology to the Saudis. And again, they're our allies, and they're held up as being our greatest allies in the Middle East, right? But they also happen to be state sponsors of terror. So this is interesting. And this just popped up today on Reuters. U.S. senators seek details on nuclear power cooperation with Saudi Arabia. So, like I said, this is breaking news, this aspect of the story. U.S. senators from both parties. So this is a bipartisan inquiry. Today, asked Energy Secretary Rick Perry for details about recent approvals for companies to share nuclear energy information with Saudi Arabia, with the lawmakers expressing concern about possible development of atomic weapons. Now, before I go any further with this is also in the context of, we pulled out of that nuclear deal with Iran. And the deal remains in place, by the way. We withdrew from it. But by all accounts, from what I've read, Iran is actually still adhering to the terms of the deal because they're continuing to be in this deal with with Europe, with the European Union and so forth. But as I understand it, and I'm no expert in this, but as I understand it, historically, we have not even wanted Iran enriching uranium for nuclear power because we don't trust them not to do more with it. In other words, building atomic weapons. And I think John Hopwood has said on this show, they already have some. We're just trying to prevent them from building more, I guess. But that's why we don't even want them having... we don't want them building nuclear power plants and because they always told us, whether you believe them or not, that's not the point of why I'm bringing this up. They've always told us and continue to say, I guess, in terms of the deal that no, we're just enriching uranium for our own nuclear power. We need to do this because we have energy needs that can only be fulfilled in this way. So if you don't take Iran at their word in terms of why they want to be enriching this uranium, because you think they're going to be doing it for nefarious purposes, it would only make sense then that you also have to, with that same concern, look at what Saudi Arabia is doing before we go ahead and give them any sort of assistance in terms of nuclear power, right? Oh, Fred in the Facebook live chat says, no, actually, they don't have the nuke. Hopwood makes up crap. Uh-oh. Well, John's not here. Now, wait. Now, in defense of Hopwood, I have to say this. I believe Hopwood has on this show made that claim. I could be wrong. I'm not 100% certain I've got that right. I think Hopwood has made that claim. I could be wrong. I could be thinking of somebody else. Well, I'm pretty sure he said that about Iran. I'm pretty sure, but I might be wrong. Anyway, but if you have that concern about Iran, whether or not you believe they have a nuke already, whether or not you believe that they're adhering to the deal, whether or not you think that they're going to enrich uranium to build nukes, you would have to, in theory, look at Saudi Arabia with that same concern. Now, maybe not, because you might say, well, Saudi Arabia is an ally, Iran is not an ally. But, well, here, let's grab this call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
It's your old pal, Fred.
Fred Bonig from the Daily Ripple. How are you, sir?
The guy who doesn't make up crap. Anyway, no, Iran doesn't have one.
Okay.
That's nonsense. There's no indication of that.
Okay.
But they were very close. They were 2 months out when they stopped.
Ah.
And with all the people that are actually over there looking for stuff, they would know it's real hard to hide a nuke. Now, the one country in the Middle East who has never confirmed they have one, you know which country that is?
Saudi Arabia?
No, Israel.
Oh, okay.
And Israel got their original start with their nuke. You might want to look up the Apollo, Pennsylvania, because they actually absconded with military-grade uranium to Israel from Apollo, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And so what happened, and the reason why they know that is because uranium is very identifiable, the isotope. So if you have the very particular kind that was brought over was actually from a naval facility, and because they created it,
okay.
So they know that it was traceable. But they're the only country who has not claimed that they have a nuke, who is not part of the nuclear proliferation besides North Korea.
Okay.
So everybody else is in on the deal. Like, you have it, you're part of this whole group. Israel has never let anybody see their stuff, and has never claimed to actually have one. At the same time, saying pretty much that they have one.
Sure. And I have read that they do. Who else does in the Middle East? Anybody?
No one in the Middle East.
Nobody.
You have Pakistan. You have India. You have France. You have England. You have United States. Russia.
China. Japan does not, correct? No. Okay. I wanted clarification on
Japan. And I don't believe Germany has one either.
Germany does not. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why. Did Japan... This might be a completely ridiculous question, but I'll tell you why I ask in a second. But did Japan have one at one time and then they destroyed what they had? Okay.
No, because we developed it and used it on them, and then we rebuilt their country.
The only reason I ask that is for some reason I thought I had read at one point that Japan did have something, or they were developing something.
Well, no, they process uranium there, but they don't have the bomb. They have power plants.
Okay, that might be why I thought that. I thought I had read something about that a long time ago, and then I had read more recently that no, Japan didn't have anything. So they never did, but they do process uranium for power. That makes sense. Okay. All right. Yeah. But Iran does not.
But, the question always is, when you have a country like if you read the Iran deal, line number 3 in the Iran deal on the front page says that Iran will not and has no interest in and will never create a nuclear bomb.
Right.
It's in the original agreement. It's on page 1. It's line 3.
Right.
And so for us to not stay with that, considering it doesn't say that they can't have intercontinental ballistic missiles. They can have that, but they can't have a nuke.
Right.
And when you're in an area where you have an extreme right-wing government on one side of the area there, and you have, you also have the Saudis who do not like them. So you have a lot of people in the Middle East that don't necessarily like Iran, and you almost and not to be on their side, but the truth is, they're in a situation where they're not. They need to protect themselves as well as everybody else in the Middle East. They all have a certain, they're all working around, the other little countries, and their influence is the same as Israel's influence around there, Saudi Arabia. They're all trying to influence the area.
Yeah, well, not only that, but they worry about us, right? I mean, that's kind of the weird cycle.
Because we don't keep our word.
Exactly.
And, originally
that's the
they
irony.
had an elected, a freely elected government, 1953, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We undermined that. We supported the Shah, who murdered his own people as well.
Yeah.
And you wonder why. When people say, well, we should get involved in Venezuela. Oh, yeah, right. We have a long history of doing good things once we get involved in countries. Actually, good things happen once we leave those countries.
Yeah. Do you think in the case of Venezuela, do you think anything's going to actually... I mean, there's a lot of saber rattling going on, but I still don't get the sense that Trump... And maybe this is one of the things that I've always kind of hoped for with him. I don't get the vibe he has any particular appetite to be invading anybody.
No, I don't put anything past him to deflect from another event.
to wag the dog.
It's never about what his knowledge of world events is limited. I mean, he doesn't really have
I've noticed
a vast understanding of any of these things in particular.
Right.
But he does know how to distract, people and change the news cycle. He's a master at that. I mean, if there's anything he's good at, that's what he's good at. And starting some other craziness so that you're not paying attention to the craziness he started the day before.
Maybe I'm being Pollyanna about it. Maybe I'm naive, but I don't think he would do that. No,
I don't know that he would be allowed to do that.
Oh, interesting. What do you mean? What do you mean? That's an interesting statement.
Well, I mean, because there's a lot of people who are around him that will hold that back.
Gotcha.
I mean, for him to go to war at this point in any place, I don't think anybody trusts him that much.
Okay.
I mean, that the generals or whatever, they would probably talk him out of it, show him a shiny object, throw a ball in the corner, get a laser light out, something. Just to distract him.
Yeah.
From that.
Right.
The other things, why not? But
yeah. Hand him a Rubik's Cube or something.
Yeah. No, no. Come on.
I'm sorry. Maybe a ball of yarn.
A football, more like it.
Right. Right. Yeah. Oh, interesting. But getting back, and we're going to run out of time, but just quickly getting back to Iran for a minute. So, because I know you pay very close attention to all this stuff. As far as we know, they still, even though we've withdrawn, they've done nothing to violate the deal, correct?
Right.
Because they're still in the deal, just not with us.
Yeah, they don't need a bomb. They don't need a bomb. That's the whole thing.
Right.
As part of the deal says, if we don't get one, you guys have to protect us.
Right.
That's what the deal says.
Right.
We're not going to get one, but so if anything happens, if Israel goes to attack us, Russia, you promised, and Britain and Germany and China, you promised to protect us.
Right. And I don't think Israel would ever attack Iran to begin with. So I think it's just kind of everything's everything's chill.
Let's not think that. Let's not
Really?
ever think that they would not do that if they thought that they had a nuke or something, that they would, without a doubt.
You think so?
They have struck out numerous times at other countries to do that.
Well,
I mean, the history of Israel has done that. They've been first strikers many times.
Yeah. Well, okay. No, I know there was something was it 1981 when they sent a bomber in to take out an installation in Iran?
Yes.
Yeah. But we would never do not underestimate the need for them to protect themselves. I'm not saying that they shouldn't. Right.
But there was nothing that would make me believe that they would not first strike something if they thought it was something that was going to in some way interfere with them or hurt them.
Right.
Without a doubt, I would believe they would do it.
Especially
with Bibi Netanyahu.
But at this point, I don't feel like Iran, outside of rhetoric, because they've, there's certain people in Iran who've not been shy about saying things like, "Oh, we're going to blow up Israel" or whatever. But outside of as long as that rhetoric doesn't escalate into something actionable, I don't think, as things stand right now, I
don't think they would either. I don't think Iran wants to do that at all. I mean, they're just concerned about, the wealth that they're trying to, the business. They can't have businesses. They're trying to build their economy.
Right.
And so, you want France there. You don't want to be in the middle of getting these people to take their money back out of your economy.
Right.
So, I mean, they're still concerned with, what's going on in Yemen. They're still, they're supporting the youth. But, the Saudis are causing a humanitarian crisis in Yemen.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right. So, there's a lot of things that people are only, that the Saudis are really as bad as anybody else is out there. I mean, they really are. I mean, at this point.
Fred, we are completely out of time, my friend. We got to go.
Well, that's cool, because tomorrow I'll be sitting behind Wilbur Ross. So if you watch into the hearing, I'll be sitting probably somewhere behind him. I'm going to see if I can get somewhere near that. We're going to be in that hearing where he talks about his budget tomorrow. So
awesome. All right, Fred, we'll
there you go.
Have fun with that, and we'll talk to you soon, my friend.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye, boss.
Bye-bye. All right, and we are completely out of time. That's it. I'll talk at y'all tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
IPMNation.com.